WRSU-FM in New Brunswick. Matt Pinfield with you until 6 o'clock. A lot of good new music for you. That's the funny thing about New Brunswick, that I find that there are so many different areas of music. There's an interesting environment. You'll find a lot of bands are coming to the New Brunswick area and getting involved here because they know it's a good place to branch out from Jersey. New Brunswick has a warmth to it. You know, it's a real interesting place, and I think that's why a lot of people are drawn to it. Basically what I would say about New Brunswick is I feel that the growth commercially helps the bands. I mean, it makes room for more venues. You know, Patrick's came in. At one time, it was only really the Melody and the Court, and the bands were having, they were having bands one night a week, these clubs. And now things are really starting to happen. I mean, New York City has so many venues for people to play. New Brunswick's starting to grow. It has about 3 or 4 now, and there are more coming. If that can happen, the growth, as far as commercially, residentially, industrially, any of that type of thing, will help make venues as well. I think RSU, as a radio station, is probably the most supportive of all the college radio stations to a club, to a local, to an original music scene.
In 1945, the Court Tavern was originally known as Joe's Bar. In 1980, the original building at 149 Church Street was razed. The Court Tavern was relocated to 124 Church Street, diagonally adjacent to its current location due to city redevelopment plans.
We opened August 24th of 81. We moved across the street.
But Bob, when you first started here, man, this was the Naugahyde room, right? We started playing downstairs. Did we play here first?
No, that was
downstairs
the
first.
upstairs wasn't open.
Yeah,
they were still working on it. So
It was downstairs.
So it was
yeah.
downstairs.
for at least a year.
And there was like
downstairs.
red and white.
Yeah, we were going upstairs, downstairs, upstairs. It was.
Yeah, and I had this picture before that the original decor downstairs was like hanging. There were actually plants. I have a photograph.
Yeah, red and white check
They didn't
tablecloth.
last. The plants didn't last long, but I do have a picture that shows they're still barely
Naugahyde
alive.
booths
Yeah.
around the wall and English two-door,
Yeah, that's right.
decor.
With the wood and
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Okay, I met Bobby. Bobby Albert came out, he graduated in Marquette, and he started working for his dad. And the bar was actually Caddy Corner at that time, and then it came over here. And we started a rock and roll event here. It was a whole bunch of different people. Crossfire Choir came up from Florida. Tina Massey was quite important with her Frozen Concentrate band. There was just a whole bunch of original bands, and they all just flocked here.
It was like a watering hole. It's basically where anybody, at one point, at one part of the day, there would be lawyers with their little suits and ties, and having the martinis, and then slowly the leather jackets would like come in, and the suits and ties would like, bye, see you later, Bobby, bye, bye, and then they'd like leave, and it was this, anybody who whatever you were, you could come here, and you feel at home. I remember this one guy, never been here before in his life, walks in and it's noisy and it's crowded upstairs, and he's just looking around. He's got a big smile on his face. What's the name of this place? And I'm like, he's got the suit and the tie. Obviously, he's got a lot of money, and he's got the mohawks and piercings all around him and stuff. And he was just all smiles. And he's like, I like this place. And he's just like totally at home.
I was living in California, and I moved to New Brunswick from LA, and this place, the Court Tavern, the Melody Bar, and the Roxy were just places you could go where there was a community. Someone was showing films at the Roxy on Tuesday nights. Matt Pinfield was spinning at the Melody. Bands were playing down here, and people were felt like people were watching out for each other, And so it's actually been nearly 20 years since I was down here. I played here with the Luna Bear Ensemble before I went over to England to join Killing Joke.
It was about 1988. Jimmy Babchak, who owned Captain Video up on Eastern Avenue and was the lead guitar player, is the lead guitar player for the Smithereens, he brought this gold record down and presented it to my dad. All of a sudden, it kind of dawned on him that something special was going on downstairs, that we had a band here in New Brunswick that was known nationally and was selling a heap of records. My dad was so touched by this. I mean, he probably cried for about an hour.
He knew that his son and all his freaky kids.
He knew that his son and all the freaky kids that were coming in
were actually,
bringing in the cash.
Bringing in the cash. They were paying the rent.
Yeah.
And he really let it happen, and he really accommodated.
He allowed
them.
it. Yeah, he did.
He allowed it, and also, I mean, those are big decisions. I'm sure moving the bar was an easy thing to do, and he had to do things. He realized that he sort of yielded to this flow.
Right.
I think is more.
It was a
more
conscious decision on his part, even though he was numb to it.
Right. He had no passion for it. He
Not really.
Little understanding of it, but he sort of
just like the mural on the back of the court tower.
The guy who was putting his finger in his ears is my dad, and it kind of pees me off that somebody wrote "dang" on him. Yeah, this is Pops. That's Pops. He never quite understood these bands that I had down here. He always was asking how come we didn't have any country western bands. But which is kind of odd because, I mean, the guy never listened to country western music. I just think he thought maybe people that listen to country western music would spend a lot of money. My dad was a big Mills Brothers fan, and Frank. He loved Frank.
Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, we are dead and in heaven. And heaven is Pleased Youth opening for AOD for all of eternity. And all your friends are there. Uncle Eli, man. I knew he would be here. There he is. Here's to Uncle Eli. Hey, we're gonna try to shit and shit. We're gonna try to shit and shit.
Bob White is the first official show that ever happened, but the first punk show was Paul Decolator's band NJF. It was Decolator and Harpo, who was Nibla Kenbane's singer, and Chuck Treese, and Andy Scovran, who was also in Pleased Youth.
Some of the best shows I've seen here. We would always just, me and my friends would always just come here like every night that there was a band playing, regardless of who was playing, because we always knew that the Court Tavern always gets good bands. And without ever like hearing of bands like Nashville Pussy before, like we just happened to be here one night and they're performing on stage and just blowing us all away, and then the next thing you know they just like explode and everyone knows Nashville Pussy now. Same thing with like REO Speed Dealer. We never heard of them, we just came to check them out. They were awesome. We ended up hanging out with the band afterwards. They were here from Texas, and you know they were just in a van. They were going to sleep in a van. They ended up going back to my apartment and crashing there for the night, because that's just the kind of place that this is. There's like definitely a sense of community amongst the artists as well as the people like that hang out here. Like any given night there's like some great band, or it's like your friend's band, so you know you're always going to have a good time here.
there's two great frontmen in New Brunswick, in my opinion. One, my brother, Swinger McRafter from Destroy All Bands. But the other great front person is, well, there's the caricature of Stinky Sonobloni, the Mad Daddy's. That's, man, let me tell you something. I miss Stinky so much. It's a guy I talk to every day almost of my life. I mean, when, you know, back when I was managing, just, he was my friend too. And the wild stuff that he would pull off, he was so showbiz. That's what I loved about Fred. Oops, I mean Stinky. He was showbiz, man. He was showbiz personified, and he was a rock and roller, true and true.
The guy on his wrong, his name is Mr. Goodlube.
Oh, so good.
And I hear he's got a real good tube, if you know what I mean. And this stupid-looking motherfucker over here. You know, I think he broke his hand because he can't dial a fucking telephone to save his fucking life.
Sounds personal.
He was too busy whacking it. But his name is Eddie Cockering.
Eddie Cocker what?
Eddie Cockering.
Cocker ring what?
Close enough. My name is Stinky, can you tell?
You rake.
That's what they tell me. But relax now, girl, I'll show you what I mean. You'll know how good it feels to be obscene. From head to toe, from bottom to top. I'll show you Stinky Sonobloni is the cream of the crop. I'll make you ooh and I'll make you ah. And you'll twist and shout. You know what the Porno King is all about. When it's over then, I won't ask when. I know that you'll be coming on back.
Well, it's probably Bobby was the first booking. You know, when he decided to get bands in here, he started, like I said, he was doing it upstairs in that back, you know, in the back room upstairs. That was